And welcome to the Bulloch Sports Report. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. The Georgia Southern Eagles will be back in action for the first time in 2 weeks as they'll be hosting Troy Saturday at 4 at Paulson Stadium. This will be the first game that they've played without backup quarterback Dexter Williams, who decided to leave the team this past week, leaving the quarterback room fairly thin, as behind starter J.C. French, you've got true freshman Tyler Budge, who's only played in one series this year, and then behind him, the number 3 quarterback is Trey Townsend, who has yet to play in a collegiate game. He's a true freshman as well. Colton Fitzgerald injured. David Dallas also injured with his shoulder, has been bothering him the entire season. He's been unable to play. So the quarterback room a little thin, and Troy has been bringing in another former Georgia Southern player, Gerald Green, who was a running back 2 years ago along with Jalen White. This year he'll be coming back as a member of Troy's rushing attack that put up over 400 yards rushing this past week in their victory over Coastal Carolina. We'll hear from Coach Helton and a couple players in just a bit. As for area high schools, Georgia High School Association starts their state playoffs on Friday. The GIAA started theirs last week, and the Bulloch Academy Gators have advanced to the semifinals, one step away from being able to play in Paulson Stadium in the state championship. They'll be taking on a Brookstone team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year, beat them by 2 points in Gator Alley, and former Georgia Southern offensive coordinator Rance Gillespie. We'll hear from Aaron Phillips and a few of his players in just a bit. As for the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets, they're basically going on the road to Chattanooga, actually about 15 minutes east of Chattanooga, as they'll be taking on Heritage out of Ringgold. We'll hear from head coach Jared Zito and some of his players. Unfortunately, Statesboro and Portal's seasons have come to a close, but we will go out to Statesboro High in just a bit as well to see where a couple of Statesboro High athletes are heading to play in college. Also, we'll send you over to Georgia Premier Academy, where 4 of their student athletes have signed to play baseball on the next level. All that and more coming up on the Bulloch Sports Report. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles in the same position that they were in last year, 6-3 as they entered the final 3 games of the season. They've got Troy coming up this week, then on the road at Coastal, then back home for Appalachian State. But first up, the Troy Trojans have only won 1 game in conference play, but it was last week, and they looked pretty impressive in doing so, rushing for over 400 yards. One of the 2 running backs is Gerald Green, that both went over 100 yards this past week. Green, of course, played his freshman and sophomore years here at Georgia Southern, transferred to East Carolina a year ago, and now he is back in the Sun Belt Conference playing for Troy. He had over 100 yards rushing this past week. Let's first hear from his former teammate and backfield mate, Jalen White, as he's excited about seeing Gerald again, but also looking forward to hopefully beating Troy and getting one step closer to being able to play in the Sun Belt Championship.
Yeah. So G, he's my dog. Yeah, we stay in touch pretty often. I had to see him this past weekend, and it's crazy how like times have changed. Now we're gonna be playing against each other, and so man, it's gonna be a little competition between us. We already said it. We stay in contact pretty often, so it's gonna be a fun experience. So the main thing for us, is just staying in the moment. Like, we can't think too far out. We can't think about Coastal and App State and so on. We got focus on the week at hand. So our main goal at hand right now is to beat Troy and then go 1-0 in a week. I think the offense is in a great position. I know there's always something you can work on, and we attack those at practice. But I feel like we're a very relaxed offense, and we're confident in what we can do. And so I just think we got to keep chugging and keep rolling.
Well, as for head coach Clay Helton, this will be the first game without quarterback Dexter Williams as the backup. Now it moves up true freshman Tyler Budge, who he says he has plenty of confidence in as the Eagles get set to take on Troy. And we'll also hear his thoughts on playing Troy.
Well, you walk into this game, and you still have your starter in J.C. French, and thank goodness it's later in the season where it's not the beginning of the season. Tyler has really grown, and one of the things that we've done with Tyler is making sure not only is he traveled each and every game preparing as a starter, but we've also put him in service situation where he's getting live reps against our defense, which has totally grown him. Did that on purpose. Did the same thing with Sam Darnold when he was this age, to be able to grow him even faster, knowing that he would have the opportunity to compete in a hurry at some point in time. And we've done that with Tyler, and we've watched him grow. So got a lot of faith in him. Got a lot of faith in JC. You have Trey Townsend as the third. We'll use Dalen Cobb as an emergency just in case. So, playing quarterback at Washington County, did a really good job there. But have a lot of faith, Josh, really, in Tyler and where he's at right now. Obviously when you look at the beginning of the season compared to where you are, some teams run through this. You have injuries. So, in today's football world, you can have these type of decisions. Like I said again, Dex is a great person. He's a great player. And I wish him nothing but the best. He helped our team. Do I wish the decision was different? Yeah, I've seen these situations before. I watched it with Jalen Hurts and Tua, at Alabama during a situation where you had really good quarterbacks in the room and finished the season and was able to keep networks and be able to do that. But every man has got his own decision to make. Dex made his decision for himself, and I'll support him all the way through it. He's been an Eagle. He always will be an Eagle, and though he's made this decision, he helped us win games. So you get to this phase of a season, and I think you look at teams that maybe look 2-3 games down the road about what can be rather than the task at hand, and that's where you can get lost. And this team has done a really nice job of responding, and now they got to respond against a Troy team where Coach Parker and crew are really playing their best football. Extremely impressed by what they did at Coastal Carolina, being able to rush for 331 yards with Taylor, as well as a gentleman that we know very well in Gerald Green. They're playing their best football. And you can see the transition starting to happen. They've kind of got an identity now offensively where they've got a really good receiving crew mixed with, a good run game. They're mixing in 12 and 13 personnel, bringing in heavier sets to run the ball, and then throwing it overhead with one of the more talented receivers that we have in our conference. So it'll be a huge challenge this Saturday to try to go 1-0 and continue our journey. Hope that each and every part of Eagle Nation will be there. Got an unbelievable opportunity for Salute to Service this Saturday, and got an unbelievable opportunity to set an attendance record for this season. I think the MO is going to be the same as we had versus South Alabama. Defensively, Josh, I just think they do a great job of mixing up fronts. They go from 4 down to odd. They have a lot of coverage hides. We can't make the critical error because this is a ball-controlled offense. They can literally take the ball and get you from maybe 14 drives a game down to 10, maybe even 9, because of their offense. So we've got to do a great job of making the most of our opportunities offensively, not turning it over, not having the critical errors, being able to score touchdowns rather than field goals, because you're not going to get that very many opportunities. Defensively, I think it's going to be about getting off the field, third down wise. We're going to have to be great. They've found a nice niche of being in that 3rd to 1 to 5 over the last couple games, and being able to hit those with the RPO game and run game, and it's allowed them. You look up, and now all of a sudden their offense is scoring 30-plus points a game, at will. I think a lot of it has to do because of their first and second down efficiency, putting them in those 3rd and 1 to 5s. We got to be able to get off the field, or it's like watching paint dry. I mean, it's just they monotonously take it down the field. Our defense has to be able to create some of those stops for us.
Well, as for the Eagle defense, they gave up over 30 points this past week, but were able to come out with a victory. This week, they're going to have a challenge in trying to stop the Troy rushing attack. We had a chance to talk with one of the defensive linemen who will be hoping to shut them down this week.
Coach Eubank said it in our linebacker meeting yesterday. The process is in the details. As long as we go out there and do our 111th, everybody out there doing their job, we should be happy with the result at the end. been doing a really good job of communicating, but I say these last couple games we should be able to take it to the next level. Just not do too much, still just do our job, but we should be able to take it to the next level. They're going to run the ball. They're pretty good up front. They got some pretty good backs, nice quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? As long as we come in here, like I said, as long as we come in there and we do our job, it'll be a good game. And it'll turn out the way we want it to turn out.
Well, the Georgia Southern men's and women's basketball teams both in action at Hanner Fieldhouse this week. Let's send you out for some of those highlights. A salute to service at Hanner Fieldhouse. Georgia Southern hosting Augusta, picking up the action in the first half. The Eagles in control. Aaron Banks drives in with a kiss off the glass. Then Eugene Brown from long range with the 3-ball. Then nice ball movement results in an easy basket underneath by Avante Parker. Back to the outside we go. Adante Holloman, 3 of his 10 points in the game. And then it's Bradley Douglas cutting in for 2 of his game-high 22 points. Holloman then finds Dante Horn for the layup. The Eagles up by 3. Augusta would cut that lead to 1 with this basket inside, but then check this one out. Nakavion White with authority. Then Banks drops the 3-pointer in from the top of the key. The Eagles then turning up the defense. They'd have 7 steals here. Douglas the pick, and he goes in for the flush. And finally, it's Holloman coming through with the steal and the layup as Georgia Southern wins 79-69. The Georgia Southern women, with only 3 games left in Hanner Fieldhouse in action. The Eagles welcoming in Bethune-Cookman. The game tied at 29. In the fourth, nice ball moving inside to Liv Fuller off the glass. It's 42-40. Then it's Nakia Mays Prince on the steal and the layup. Bethune-Cookman not going away. They get the basket here. But the Eagles answer back. McKenna Eddings from downtown. That's going to force a timeout. Georgia Southern with the lead. Clock winding down. Jasmine Jackson drains another 3. And the Eagles go on to win 54-50.
A really cool experience to be able to play in here, and to be honest, I think that I could speak for my team, and we just want to have a better performance on Saturday. And again, obviously we're happy about the win, but if you told me that these were our percentages and we won the game, I would be completely shocked. So proud of us for pulling it off, and hopefully we can close it out in Hanner with a little bit more enjoyable experience.
This is Paul Newman with Statesboro Real Estate. Have you been on the sidelines? Well, now is the time to list your house. Let's GATA and get after those assets.
Well, the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets advancing to the state playoffs, and they're trying to do the thing that they've only done one time since 1973, and that is win a state playoff game. Of course, this year's seniors were freshmen in 2021 when they won this first state playoff game in quite a while for the Jackets, and head coach Jared Zito feels that these guys feel confident going into this matchup with Heritage coming up on Friday up in Ringgold.
Friday or Thursday, I actually had our guys show their hands who was on that team that went to Cedar Grove. That was a part of the playoff win versus Long County. And there was actually a good number of our seniors, the Kyle O'Briens and the Mike Dixons and Quentin Reeds. Those guys were all a part of it. They weren't necessarily on the field, but they were part of that experience. And really from the beginning of the season, this senior class, their legacy, what they want is, their goal anyways, was can we go one further? And so, that was something they talked about a long time ago. And, we're going to take one at a time, but it's good that they're reaching for a little higher. And we got to go up and take care of business first. be 1-0 in the playoffs, and then we'll talk about game 2. They're playing good football up there. They're a solid team. I think they finished 6-4. Got a really good wide receiver. We're going to have to do a good job on him. It's playoffs. So at this point, everybody's going to play hard. We're going to give them our best. They're going to give us their best. I think in the playoffs, it comes down to turnovers, special teams, and defense. And, everybody wants to flash about offense, but typically speaking, in championship runs on any level, those are the 3 things we need to focus on.
I'm feeling like everything's starting to click, Through the beginning, you have some rough spots here and there, and then once you get everything all smoothed out, it starts to be a whole team, like a running machine, basically. And I feel like that's the point we're at, right where we need to be. We know what it's like to be in a playoff game. I mean, we didn't play as much as the starters, but we still got that experience. We know what it's like. We know we just got to do our job, play our game, and we'll come out on the other side.
What do you know about Heritage? What do you expect?
I watched a little bit of film. I mean, they're a good team. They're a solid team, of course. They're in the playoffs. They're ranked good for a reason, but I think, like you're saying, we match up well with our strengths and then their strengths. I think we got a pretty good shot.
I feel we're really dominant in our run game. So, I mean, I'm hoping we do good in that, like we always do. I mean, our defense, we're stopping a lot of teams. They're not putting too many points on the board, but they're doing their thing. But I'm really looking forward to our offense because we drive the ball down their throat, and we're always stick to the old game. And we never change anything up. So really it's looking good going to the playoffs. Good luck to the other team and good luck to us. I want to go farther than the first round for sure. I want to make it to the state championship. I want to leave something behind to our younger kids, just how our older generation left something behind for us. So it gives us to give them something to look up to, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm looking forward to, being an inspiration to our young guys.
The Bulloch Academy segment is brought to you in part thanks to Floors Outlet of Statesboro, located on Northside Drive. Come by and visit Mo for all your floor covering needs.
This is Paul Newman, Statesboro Real Estate. I have 3 kids that attend here. I'm a proud sponsor of Bulloch Academy Athletics and the #1 ranked Gator football team. Go Gators!
The Bulloch Academy Gators are one step away from advancing to the state championship, which will be played in Paulson Stadium a week from Friday. This week they have to take care of business at home. They'll be taking on Brookstone. Of course, Brookstone last year knocked the Gators out of the state playoffs, winning by 2 points in a game where a lot of bounces went their way. Literally, a couple passes were tipped into the receiver's arms and they ran for a touchdown. So the tough loss from last year still stings. Rance Gillespie, the former offensive coordinator at Georgia Southern under Tyson Summers, is coming back to Gator Alley. He was the head coach there last year as well. We had a chance to talk with Aaron Phillips about how he feels the team is going in, and we also talked to some of the Gator players as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity. Anytime you're one of the 4 teams left in the state, you've had a great season. You're doing something right, and we look at this one. We're going to try to treat this one like we do every other one, and only look at this one and not look ahead. And we're excited to play Brookstone. Coach Gillespie gets to come back here to Statesboro, and he's a great offensive-minded coach, and we'll have our work cut out for us. Our defense is, we met last night for a long time, and they're ready for the challenge. And when you get to where there's only 4 left, the gap in talent closes. And that'll happen in each round. So. It's going to come down, just like it did last year. A team that has some things go their way. Last year they had, 3 balls that were tipped or batted down that somehow they ended up catching for big plays and first downs. And, the turnover battle. I mean, we're going to have to hold on to the football and possibly create a couple of turnovers. So, but it'll be a great game. Here in Gator Alley, it's going to be a great atmosphere right here, and so we're looking forward to the challenge.
We did really well up front offensively. The line just moved people and created big holes. Something we can get better is in our secondary on defense. Left a lot of people open during pass plays and stuff.
Second round, you get another game here, 1 game away. How are y'all feeling? What do you think about the game plan for this week?
Feeling good. Got a lot of stuff to install for them. It's a revenge tour. They beat them last year, but we're going to come back this year and win. They're big. When stuff goes wrong in the run game for them, they start throwing the ball a lot. We just got to watch out for that and be ready.
practice hard all week and play as hard as we can. Play it like it's the last one no matter what, and play hard.
What do they do well? What do you have to do to stop them?
They're big up front. They got a lot of players that run hard, just fight hard and crawl and do everything they can to try to make you stop and slow down.
One step away from the big one. I'm sure you guys are pretty motivated, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got cut short last year, but revenge tour, like Hamp said, and hopefully we can do it this year.
This segment sponsored in part by Total Tire of Statesboro, located at 2703 Northside Drive, featuring friendly, courteous staff. Come see them today for all your automotive needs, featuring alignments, suspension, brakes, tires, and more. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights from last week's victory in the opening round of the state playoffs against Pacelli. At Gator Alley, Bulloch Academy opening up the state playoffs against Pacelli. This was supposed to be a close, tough contest, but this one was all Gators. Up the middle to start things off, Danye Garvin goes down inside the 5, and from there, Sam Hubbard will find Shamar Jenkins for the touchdown, and it was 7-0. To the second quarter we go. The Gator defense simply shutting down Pacelli here. Braylon Cone with the hit for a loss, and then Cone gets a little bit of help on this one. This gives the ball back to the offense, and Sam Hubbard going to the air. This time Jenkins hauls it in, and he goes all the way down the left sidelines for the touchdown. It's 14-0. And then Jenkins gets the call again. He goes around the right side. He's in the end zone for another score. And then Pacelli pinned deep, the snap over the quarterback's head. It's a safety, 23-0. Then the pitch to Jenkins. He goes around the left side and goes all the way down before being tackled at the 1. No problem. They go back up the middle. Garvin fights his way in. The Gators up big at the half, 30-0. The defense coming up with the next points. The ball is tipped into the hands of J.B. Roach, and he goes all the way in for the touchdown, 43 yards. And then for the finishing touch, another interception, this one by Whit Olive, as the Gators will move on to the second round of the state, and they'll be home again with a 37-0 victory. Well, quite a few student athletes in the Bulloch County area deciding where they will be attending college coming up in the fall. Let's first send you over to Statesboro High, where a couple of Blue Devils have decided where they'll be going, and then we'll send you over to GA Premier Academy, where 4 of their student athletes have decided where they'll be playing baseball on the next level.
Georgia Southern was just special to me, and I knew I wanted to go there, just obviously because it's home. Once I got the opportunity, Coach Hennon and Coach Batista gave me the opportunity, I knew right away that Southern was where I wanted to be, and just be surrounded by friends and family.
The engineering department and program there is super strong. I was looking at mechanical, and I want to pursue stuff within the aerospace field, and the opportunities that they have within for growth, for leadership, for internships, for research is just well beyond what I could ask, and I'm super glad that the coaches saw me and saw what I have to offer, and I'm super grateful that they have provided me the opportunity to shoot for the University of Nebraska.
So I chose the University of Georgia, and a lot of family members have gone to Georgia. I've been in Athens basically my whole life. I love the school, love the campus, and I especially love the coaches and the team of the equestrian team. They are all just so lovely and just sweet, and they want to make me reach my highest potential, and I'm super excited to go to such an amazing college.
This class is maybe as exciting as any we've had, only because the landscape of college baseball is so difficult now, and it's just tough for kids. So anyone that gets an opportunity to sign to go play at that level is obviously in the small percentage. So a couple of JUCOs in Florida that are very, very good schools. One was when I attended South Florida State College for 2 years before I went to Tampa, and then with Lafayette, and then obviously Adria going to Vanderbilt is a very exciting time for our guys.
I feel great. First of all, I want to thank God and my family, and I'm just excited because all the hard work is starting to pay off. And the reason I committed to Vandy is because I really like the coaching staff over there, and I really like the campus, and I think it's a place where I can develop to become the best version of myself.
I love the coaching staff, Coach Miller and Coach Luke. They helped me greatly through this process. The campus just feels like home. My teammates next year, they're just very nice, and they treated me well on my official visit, and overall I'm just very pleased with how I'm going to go on next year and play for Lafayette College.
The decision to come to GPA was pretty easy. You know, I saw the focus I can put into baseball and just kind of block out all the outside noise, just really focus on what I wanted to do and what God brought me here to do. And just South Florida was an easy decision. Coach Haight made it really easy. You know, had a nice talk for about 20 minutes on the campus. I love the staff. You know, I love the facility. I love the guys there. We got some guys there from last year, and I'm really excited to get after it with Coach Haight.
I'm feeling great for the opportunity to go to the college. I take the decision. I think that's the best decision I can take to continue my student. And I play baseball.
And finally, the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets and the Statesboro Blue Devil flag football teams both in action this week. Let's send you out for some highlights from their games and then from them playing each other. Flag football action from Wednesday. Statesboro hosting Camden County. The Blue Devils on the move. Isley Simpkins, the first down run. And then it's another instant replay here. It's Simpkins. She gets down inside the 5, and then Simpkins caps it off with the touchdown. For the extra point, quarterback Ivy Weaver, she scrambles and crosses the goal line for a 7-0 Statesboro lead. Second quarter, the lateral back from Kate Yon to Simpkins, and she's gone 60 yards down the sidelines for the touchdown. And then for the conversion, the Blue Devils go with Simpkins again. She takes it in, giving Statesboro a 14-0 lead. The Blue Devils looking for more, and Weaver going deep, and she finds Mia Weathers down to the 5. Weathers then caps the drive with the touchdown run, 20-0 Statesboro. And finally, it's Weathers coming up with the finishing touch. She hauls in the interception, and Statesboro wins 20-0. Game 2 at Womack Field featuring Camden County and Southeast Bulloch, and the Jackets going to the air early. Emma Kate Barron looks for Hallie Long, who makes an amazing grab over the defender for the touchdown. More from the Jacket offense. J.C. Kitchens to Barron. She goes the rest of the way. It's 12-0, and they'd roll 44-6. Statesboro and Southeast Bulloch playing game 3, and the Jacket defense with the big play on their first possession. The ball tipped into the waiting arms of Kayla Adams, who goes in for the touchdown, and it's 6-0 Southeast Bulloch. The Jackets back on offense, and it's Barron looking for Adams, who hauls it in for a first down. Next, a little razzle-dazzle, give and go between Kitchens and Chloe Cochran just shy of the goal line. The Blue Devil defense stiffens from there and keeps the Jackets out of the end zone. Southeast back on offense, Barron to Natalia Odom. And then fourth down, and Weathers with the deflection in the end zone. Statesboro dodges another bullet. The Jackets continuing to try and get some points. Barron swings it over to Lena Erickson down to the 10, and then cleaning things up, Paige Nelson goes in for the touchdown. The Southeast Bulloch defense comes up with another big play moments later when Statesboro has the ball. Kelsey Johnson, the interception. She gets this one all the way back to the 7-yard line. And then from there, Barron to Erickson for the score. The conversion is good to Adams. And Southeast Bulloch rolls by a final count of 20-0. And that'll wrap it up for this week's show. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.